Good afternoon. Welcome to our latest coronavirus news conference, where we will update you on the latest information happening in our community. There have been several developments in our fight to slow the spread of COVID-19, and Orange County Mayor Jerry L. Demings will be sharing that information with you. Dr. Raul Pino is unable to make it to our news conference today, so Kent Donahue, spokesperson for the Florida Department of Health in Orange County, is here to give you the latest numbers. Mayor Demings.
All right. Thank you, Jane Wartrell. Thank you to all of you for being here. We've had another week of many activities here within Orange County. Today I'm going to tell you some good news and some bad news. And so I believe since this is Friday, I'm going to start out with the bad news first, and then we'll end with the good news. So I want to acknowledge that, unfortunately, here within the state of Florida, we have now reached a fairly grim milestone. Florida reached over 50,000 Floridians have died of COVID-19 within our state. 1/4 of those deaths have occurred since the surge of infections from the Delta variant. So that puts an exclamation point on the fact just how deadly the Delta variant has been for all of us. We have seen the same trends in Orange County as well. 372 of our residents died in August. That's the last numbers that we have, and perhaps Mr. Donahue from the Department of Health will get more into the numbers. Since our last briefing, Monday of this week, 85 more residents have died from the coronavirus. Certainly our hearts and prayers go out to those families. And I have to say, even one of my family members this week died of COVID-19. But we also are seeing some very promising news. For example, the number of daily infections is declining. For the 13th straight day, we've had our daily cases under 1,000. Yesterday, Advent Health announced they are transitioning to green status for all of their facilities in Central Florida, which means that they have now returned to normal operations following the steady decrease in infections in our area since the peak in August. We'll talk more about the numbers in just a few moments. But we're continuing to see an increase in the number of eligible county residents getting their vaccinations for COVID. That's more good news. As of today, 72% of eligible residents ages 12 and up have received one or more doses of the vaccine. The most recent numbers of Orange County employees getting their vaccination is good news as well. 78% of county employees have received at least one or more shots. This breaks down to 87% of non-union employees have at least one shot, and 63% of union employees have been vaccinated. So we have until the end of this month to get the remaining number of county employees vaccinated. Now, of course, some are going to be exempted out because of medical conditions or religious beliefs. So we'll see where we end up. But I do appreciate the community for going and getting vaccinated, as well as the employees here within Orange County. We have to kind of lead by example in order to better serve the residents of Orange County. As a reminder, Camping World Stadium provides drive-through vaccine shots 7 days a week. You can get either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine there at Camping World. No appointment is necessary. You can go between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. daily. We urge everyone to do their part by getting vaccinated. For more information, you can go to ocfl.net/vaccine. There are now 221,749 coronavirus cases reported in Orange County. As I previously mentioned, the number of Orange County residents who have died from COVID-19 has now reached 1,864. Again, 85 more than we started the week with. The 14-day positivity rate continues to decline. We're at 12.32%, a good trend to see. Just September 4th, it was 15.5%. And when we go back to July, it was as high as 21%. Orange County Health Services has 3 testing sites. The sites are averaging a total of 2,800 tests each day. All 3 sites are open 7 days a week. 2 of the sites, Barnett Park and the former Claricona Elementary School, are open between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The Econ Soccer Complex closes an hour early. It is open between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. You can get information about our various testing sites by going to ocfl.net/testing. If the COVID-19 pandemic has caused you to struggle with your rent, or if you are facing eviction, I want to remind our residents there is help available here within Orange County through our Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Eligible residents can receive up to 12 months of past due rent and up to 1 month of future rent for a total of $20,000. As of this morning, more than $8.8 million have been distributed to keep more than 1,565 families in their homes. You can get information on the rental assistance program from ocfl.net/rental assistance. You know, we know that the pandemic has put additional stress on our residents to stay in their homes, and rent prices have continued to increase. But on Tuesday, the Board of County Commission voted unanimously to award $13 million for multifamily affordable housing developments here within Orange County. That helps us to move the needle. This will be the first large-scale production of affordable housing sponsored by Orange County's Housing Trust Fund that we created just a couple of years ago. The money will go towards 525 housing units, which will be built today in the Pine Hills, Apopka, and South Orange County by 2023, actually. Next week, we will hold the first meeting kicking off our county redistricting process. It is of utmost importance that our residents participate in this process. The goal of redistricting is to review the population data from the most recent U.S. Census and potentially make recommendations to adjust county commission district boundaries. Redistricting is mandated by federal law, the Florida Constitution, and our Orange County Charter. There will be a total of 11 meetings scheduled through mid-December. The first meeting will take place here at Orange County Administration on Monday night, September the 20th at 6:30 p.m. The meeting will also be broadcast on Orange TV. For more information, please visit our website again at ocfl.net/redistricting. And finally, we want to applaud our staff and others for working on Hispanic Heritage Month. It kicked off this week to make certain that we honor Hispanic and Latin American culture here within Central Florida. We have a prestigious display of artwork and traditional dresses right here in the County Administration Building just outside the doors behind you. Tomorrow morning, we will be participating in the Florida Puerto Rican Parade in downtown Orlando. I hope to see you there. The Hispanic Heritage Month runs through October the 15th. And with that, I'm going to turn it over at this time to Mr. Kent Donahue, who is representing Dr. Pino from the Florida Department of Health at Orange County. And Mr. Donahue.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Good afternoon. My name is Ken Donahue. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Health in Orange County. Filling in for Dr. Pino today, and he sends his apologies he couldn't attend. As Mayor Dimmons mentioned, currently here in Orange County, we have a total of 221,749 total positive cases here since the beginning of the pandemic. Our 14-day rolling average percent positive is now down to 12.32%. To give you an idea, on September the 3rd, that number was at 15.87%. 6%. As Dr. Pino mentioned in the past, 5 weeks ago we reached our peak, so each and every day since then we've seen a decrease in cases, but also the percent positive, so that we're trending in the right direction itself. Unfortunately, since our last press conference here on Monday, September the 13th, we've had 85 additional COVID-related deaths associated with, reported to the Florida Department of Health in Orange County. Our apologies, or excuse me, our condolences to the family and friends who've lost those individuals. So one note to make, we did have a readjustment in terms of cases here in Orange County. One of those deaths was associated or transferred to Lake County. So our current death total is 1,864. Of those 85 fatalities, 47 were had known underlying health conditions, and 38 had unknown health conditions. One date of death is associated with July of this year. 49 dates of death are from August of this year, and 35 dates of death are from September. Of the 85, 11 were reported from long-term care facilities itself. On to variants. As you know, our epidemiologists continue to monitor for variants here in the community, and any of those are on the horizon. You can certainly have the utilities director talk about their testing they're doing right now for any variants on the horizon. But as the mayor mentioned, the most dominant here variant is the Delta variant, and it continues to be so. For vaccinations, we've got some good news. We're still trending up each and every day. Currently now, third doses for residents here have now surpassed the 14,000 mark just this past week. That number is actually 14,803 third doses for residents here in Orange County. So if you're seeking a third dose, we certainly encourage you to consult with your healthcare provider. And also, if you, as a reminder, you can receive your third dose from your healthcare provider and a local pharmacy. One note related to vaccinations, when our staff had a chance to look at the most recent new cases, that day was September the 14th. On that day, we had 117 new cases. Of that 117, 96.6% of those individuals were unvaccinated. So we encourage you to go out and get vaccinated. It's a chance to protect yourself against the variants and, of course, the virus itself. And finally, as Mayor Demings mentioned, we're now to the 72% mark for vaccinations for at least one dose here of residents eligible, 12 and up. So, Mayor, I give it back to you.
All right, thank you. We're joined today. We have Ms. Yesenia Negron, who's here, who, if we need to do Spanish translation, she's here to assist in that process. We also have with us Mr. Scott Howard from the Orange County Public Schools, if you have questions related to the school district. And with that, we'll open it up for any questions that you may have at this time.
Mayor Demings, earlier this week, Lawrence Cervantes, WKMG News 6, earlier this week, Ron DeSantis had announced that he would be fining local counties and municipalities that are mandating that their employees be vaccinated. Because today those fines started, has Orange County been notified of any fines yet? And also, what does the process look like? Because if they're fining over this mandate, is the fine inevitable? How do you come into compliance if people have already received the vaccine under the mandate? What does it look like here?
Well, that's a good question, because the state of Florida had not even promulgated rules of how to do the enforcement. And we have not received any correspondence from the Department of Health about violating those rules, and we'll just have to wait and see. But our county attorney's office believes that we're on solid legal ground, both from a federal and a state perspective. And so we know that something was wrong with the directive that Governor DeSantis put out, primarily because there were no rules in place. And so we'll just have to see how that all works out. We likely will end up in litigation over it if we receive notices of fines. We'll go through the process and do our respective appeals, et cetera.
Mayor Greg Fox from Watch 2 News. That's okay. Company equipment. Kind of curious, what exactly is the disagreement that's hard to resolve when it comes to the union, the corrections officers, the fire department, and getting through to them that they are included in this vaccine mandate, or is it possible that only non-union employees will really be under the gun for that?
I don't know that there's any confusion. We have the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, has signed the agreement. So the only union of county employees that has not signed the agreement are the firefighters union. And we continue to have dialogue with them. And, you know, obviously there's a little bit of confusion that's out there about the efficacy of mandates. A week or so ago, the President of the United States mandated that certain categories of employees had to get vaccinated, to include, you know, healthcare workers, nurses, physicians, et cetera. And we have some of our own employees here within Orange County who meet that category. Of course, we have our health clinics, we have healthcare experts, physicians, nurses, et cetera, who work at our jail. And so there's a little bit of confusion about that. And there's been a Supreme Court ruling about whether or not local governments have, or governments in general have the authority to do mandates. And so you have competing interests now that has been unfortunately politicized, and there's confusion created because of directives from the federal level and now directives from the state level. But at the end of the day, here from a local perspective, our job is to take care of the people, take care of our employees in the process. And so that's what we're going to endeavor to do. We're going to stay focused on what's important, and that is saving lives here in this community. And the rest of it we'll work out through the courts and ensure that we do what is in the best interest of our residents.
Jeff Allen, Spectrum News 13. This question's for the mayor. The FDA actually just decided just the last hour or so for now not to extend the Pfizer vaccine to booster shots for like a third shot. But with booster shots, maybe an eventuality, is the county coming up with just some contingent plans to possibly reopen maybe some sort of mass vaccination site like we saw months ago if booster shots do become recommended?
There will be, I think, there's a supply issue here, and unfortunately we do not control the supply chain. It is controlled by the federal government. So until we have clarity on what is approved or not approved, it's very difficult for us to know precisely. But we do have conversations here. We have contingency plans built in terms of making the opportunity to get vaccinated in our community readily available. We will fully explore the potential for extending contracts with different facilities to where we're currently doing testing. So early next week, we will announce our plan of action to ensure that the regular doses of the vaccine continues to be available. Of course, you've heard Mr. Donahue talk about the availability of the third shots, and perhaps he can expand on what I've just said about the availability. But right now, the retail pharmacies and physicians, private physicians, are primarily the locations where you can go and get the third shots if you fall into that eligible category. So, Kent, do you want to add anything else there?
I'll add to the conversation just a little bit. Yes, he's correct. There's plenty of vaccine in the community itself. There's over 115 different pharmacies here in Orange County where you can get the vaccine. But once again, we encourage individuals to look into that third dose, consult with your healthcare provider, see if it fits your needs and so forth, and go and take that information and make your choice.
Okay. Okay. There are no questions. You know, Scott Howard is here from the school district. You guys really didn't want to ask Scott any questions? All right, Scott, you got off scot-free. All right, thank you all for joining us. We hope you have a great weekend, and the next press briefing is on Monday, September the 20th. That's this coming Monday at 11 a.m.